Welcome back to another episode of The Family Album. I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
And I'm Matt Glass.
And Matt, we have a very special little break that we're doing this month, don't we?
Yes, we do, AJ. It is becoming the Christmas season.
Exactly. So just like Halloween, all throughout December, we're doing Christmas-themed episodes, some a little looser with the theme than others.
Yeah, I would definitely say, yeah.
But we're going to try to get into the holiday spirit, so we hope you guys enjoy this other little block we're doing.
Yeah, no, AJ, what albums do we have today that are Christmas?
Well, we do have one that is very much Christmas.
And another one that's actually good.
I'm glad you said it, man.
No, it's okay. Do you want to say it or do you want me to say it?
Sure, Matt. What is the album that you brought for me?
I brought AJ an album that I have never listened to before until like really recently because I'd never heard anything about it. It's called The Animals' Christmas by Art Garfunkel. And
it certainly is.
Let me tell you, there's probably a reason why people have never heard of this album.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you would expect from half of Simon and Garfunkel. Like you would think, just like a little folksy little album with some Christmas themes. Not at all.
No, it's super like.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. But AJ, what album did you give me?
So the album that I gave to Matt is very loosely Christmas themed because there's only one Christmas track on it, but it's Pictures at an Exhibition by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Noted as one of the best or one of like the most like cult classic live albums, definitely for Prague especially.
Without a doubt. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that record. I also really like the fact that they adapted old orchestral suites.
I know, that's so fucking cool.
I did check out the original.
Okay.
Like a few of the original ones. And then the reason why AJ chose that album is because there is a song at the very end that Tchaikovsky, is it Tchaikovsky's
I think
Nutcracker?
So. Yeah.
Yeah. Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, Emerson, Lake and Palmer do an adaptation of it called the Nutrocker. Let me tell you, it really rocked my nuts.
You took the words right out of my mouth, man.
It must have been while you were kissing me. But anyway, no, it's a very worthwhile album. We will get into it. But AJ, I'm not even going to let you decide. Let's just slug through The Animals' Christmas first so that we can save the best for last.
Sounds good to me.
Well, okay, guys, I'll give you a little bit of a history. The Animals' Christmas by Art Garfunkel was released on January 12th, 1986. I don't know why they released it after. 12th. Yeah.
Huh. That feels very wrong for this kind of album.
Yeah, why is it after?
Was it just like they were running out of time or just like...
I have no idea. Personally, after listening to this album, I don't really give a shit as to why. It is the sixth studio album by Art Garfunkel, post Simon and Garfunkel, and it was released through Columbia Records. It was produced by Geoff Emerick, who, oh God, what did he produce? Geoff Emerick was actually the producer for Revolver, The Beatles, Abbey Road, and Sgt. Pepper.
Okay. And he did this.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then Jimmy Webb, I believe... Oh, shit. There's an important thing for Jimmy Webb, too.
Did he eat the world? Was he Jimmy Eat World?
Jimmy Eat Webb, yeah, actually. The Jimmy Eat World Charlotte's Web crossover we did not know we needed.
The lost media.
Give me a second, family heads. I just need to check something. Yeah, Jimmy Webb actually was a producer for one of my favorite soul bands of all time, The Fifth Dimension.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Very cool.
So we have a Beatles producer and a
producer for a fan favorite band.
Yeah. And somehow they released this into the world. Critic David A. Milberg, just one singular Milberg. There's a few of them, but it's just one of them took the time to say that this is one of the best Christmas albums of the 80s, which I'm afraid is just simply untrue.
I feel like there's some stiff competition there.
Very much so. In the 80s? That's kind of insane.
New Kids on the Block, man.
Yeah, that's very, very true. But yeah, that's the history, and I gotta say, let's just get this shit over with, AJ.
Yeah, much like this album, that history was very underwhelming.
Yes, it was. So to give a little bit of background, and again, I did not listen to this album. I saw it. I thought, wow, a Christmas album by Art Garfunkel. This is probably going to be very interesting. He has a very nice voice. So this album is very Catholic.
Yeah.
It's very Christian.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, it is a concept album that is depicting the nativity of Jesus Christ through the perspective of the animals.
It's a very strange concept.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it's used effectively and like, you know, it's like kind of cute. Like it's like an album you show to like your kids if you want to raise them Catholic. But like other times it's just really weird. Like on the second track, which we'll get into.
Yeah, I think, because here's the thing. There actually are some Christian undertones in Simon and Garfunkel's music. Like there's a song called, I think it's like Benedictus or something like that.
Okay.
Off of...
yeah, that's their collab with Ghost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who art Garfunkel?
That's actually what Art Garfunkel kind of sounds like now, to be honest with you, because he's so old. But no, yeah, it's there are a little bit of like religious undertones. And then Art Garfunkel also has a book, and he kind of talks about that a little bit too.
Gotcha.
Like, I think they're very loosely religious, so they're like, yeah, I'm open to the idea of like a Christian album. But yeah, this is a very orchestral, like
it's almost like a play, almost.
Yeah.
Like the music feels like it's like a Broadway score almost.
and I'm sure if it was paired with the visual, it'd be maybe worth the watch.
Yeah.
Maybe. But as an album, I gotta say, not to spoil it, it was a tad underwhelming.
Yeah, it's a kind of a slog to get through.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Sorry, guys, I'm having trouble talking this morning
It's okay, we're a little rusty.
at time of recording. But yeah, no, shall we just dive right in, AJ?
I think we shall.
Well, this is the first track, The Annunciation. I find that there are points where it's like, oh, I actually this is okay. But then there are other parts where I'm like, wow, this is super boring.
Yeah.
And this is kind of how I feel. Like, this is an okay arrangement in the first one.
I feel like it's the way it opens does not set the tone for the whole album. Like it sounds almost evil. Like there's this very ominous opening with Art Garfunkel. Yeah.
I'm like, oh God.
Jesus, it sounds like the ending to like Hunchback of Notre Dame or something.
Yeah. And while that is cool for that setting, it's a weird thing to open with.
But then it immediately switches energy and it's like, okay, so this is it. And what it is not very interesting.
No, not very.
Like the instrumentation is very well done and the production is like immaculate.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like super notable.
No, you won't walk away singing The Annunciation or a couple other names down the line. I want to talk about them, but at the same time, I also want to save it because some of these fucking names are amazing.
They're very goofy.
But there was a wind section in the middle of it that I actually really appreciated. Even from an orchestral standpoint, I think this album's kind of boring.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna lie to
it's
you.
just very standard.
Yeah.
Like it's really not there to kind of stand out on its own. It's there to score the story.
Yes.
Which works for what it's doing, but it's just not particularly interesting to me.
Yes. Not really much to say about it. It's kind of a weird opener.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are weirder tracks down the line,
Yeah.
so I say we keep going. All the tracks are also like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a long album, but it feels pretty long, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. But yeah, no, it's all there's only one track that's like 7 minutes, I think, on here.
Perhaps?
Yeah. Or like, no, it's like 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Jesus.
Not again.
Oh, Jesus. Because that's what it's
Literally.
about. But no, yeah, that's The Annunciation. We should just keep on going.
Sounds good.
I'm too eager to talk about the second album to really slog too much on this
Fair.
one.
All right. Next up, we have The Creatures of the Field. I think it's a fine segue from The Annunciation. This is where the animal perspective is really weird because it's essentially all these animals looking at the Virgin Mary just having a crisis of like, how did I get pregnant?
Yeah.
And it's really weird and uncomfortable.
It is, yeah. I mean, the melody is nice, but like the lyrics do not match what's going on whatsoever.
Like Mary is panicking about like what happened and just saying like, I'm not going to be able to like sleep tonight. What the fuck is going on?
It's like da 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 da. Yeah. And then the lyrics are like wishing her heartbeat ceases its fearful pounding, and it's like what
the fuck?
It's like hello.
Did this happen in the manga? I don't remember.
Not the Jesus manga. You know, there actually was an anime adaptation of The Passion.
What, really?
I think there's actually maybe 2 of them.
Holy shit.
I've seen bits and pieces of one of them.
Is it like a shonen? Because that'd be kind of tight.
No. It's not a shonen. There's also in one of the JoJo plot lines, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, is that the main characters are trying to find the body of Jesus Christ, who apparently had a stand, which is the name of the sort of like phantom avatar thingies that like help them
personas.
fight. Yeah, personas. That's a good way of looking at it. But yeah, apparently the body of Jesus Christ has the most powerful stand in existence.
Damn. Did they ever find it? Does it have a cool rock pun name like REO Speedwagon?
Unfortunately, I have no idea.
Damn.
The president is like My Bloody Valentine or something
That's
like that.
good. I like that.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one because it actually hasn't come out yet. The manga also is for some reason on limited release. I don't know why. But we're not talking about JoJo season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Kinda wish we were, but talking about the fucking Animals Christmas.
We're not talking about JoJo. We should at some point. Creatures of the Field. It's an okay melody.
Yeah.
I like the mix of like the synth strings and the horns. There's some really nice horn sections that I really like.
All throughout this album, definitely.
Oh, without a doubt. But other than that, again, it's just kind of like what a weird score for this woman having a crisis of how did I get pregnant? That's crazy.
It's fucking scary, dude. And you have all these like animals that are just like looking at her through the window.
I should also know who the female vocalist is. But
her name is Amy Grant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Amy Grant? Okay, I know who that is.
Yeah, so I believe this album is credited, I believe, to just Art Garfunkel on like a lot of research things. But her name is on the cover, so it's their kind of collab album. So I don't really know. If she got screwed out of credit, that sucks ass. If she got her full credit, that fucking rips.
And Jimmy Webb's on the cover, too.
Jimmy Webb?
Yeah, like
oh,
his
yeah.
name.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of the birds.
He is, actually. Put in the comments, guys. Guess which bird he actually is.
It's like a Where's Waldo thing.
Where's Jimmy? So should we move on to track number 3?
Sounds good. I actually don't mind this one that much.
Neither do I. This is one of the higher moments. I shouldn't say high moments. This is one of the higher moments. It is called Just a Simple Little Tune. It has like a really woodland, like folksy vibe.
It's with that fucking fiddle.
And when it dives into that, I kind of fuck with it more.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something like out of the Coraline soundtrack.
Okay.
Or maybe like, I only know that because I watched it like really recently. Or like How to Train Your Dragon. It kind of has like the same like weird like woodland like
the kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely that makes sense because I think like in the song it's a cricket who's playing the fiddle, I believe.
That's great.
Yeah, but because it's the Animals Christmas, Matt.
I did not pay attention to the lore of this whatsoever.
I tried, so I have like a kind of basic outline for the story. So if we're interested, I could try to recite what's going on.
You know what, AJ? What the fuck? Why not?
All right.
Why not?
So
I was a lyrics guy on one of the other albums, but not this one.
Which fucking fair enough. This is not worth your time. Basically, the story, the Annunciation, it's the Annunciation that God is going to have a kid. And then I believe at the end, Mary is chosen as the mother. Then Creatures of the Field, Mary's having her crisis about how the fuck did I get pregnant, and the animals are just watching her have this. And then just a simple little tune is the animals trying to comfort Mary by playing her a song so she can go to sleep, a lullaby. It's kind of weird. I
kind of feel like if she was panicking about being pregnant and then a cricket just started
whips
being
out
like,
his fiddle.
Like, she'd be like, what the hell? When does Richard Corey make it onto the album?
That's side 2, I believe. Yeah,
side 2. If this had a side 2, I'd probably kill myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. But honestly, though, Amy Grant's vocals are pretty good.
She's a highlight on this all throughout.
She carries a lot of this record.
Yeah.
I'd say pretty much this song. I think the upbeat part of the song is also pretty nice.
Yeah, when just like the instrumental breakdown actually really goes kind of hard.
There's a few of them where it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like very much towards the end. But yeah, this one's really good. I love the string arrangements and the piano. It's very, very nice. And yeah, the vibe is also just as woodland. It fits definitely instrumentally.
I'll give this album one thing. It is consistently peaceful.
Yeah.
But like in a weird sort of like straight to CD selling this outside of a church kind of way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very much.
There's not really much I have to say about this. There's really nothing else.
There's a really nice saxophone at the end as Mary drifts off to sleep, but that's about all I got to say.
I see. Shall we move on to The Decree?
Sounds good.
Track number 4, The Decree. The horns sprinkled around this track are probably the high part of the song as a whole.
I would agree.
There's also a really nice, like, again, another wood section. I guess I should say reeds.
Yeah, the woodwinds.
It's like
oboe.
It's like oboe. I think
clarinet.
there was some saxophone in there
too.
From what I could hear. It was like a mix.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, this is the best sounding kids choir I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, also the kids choir is also very, very good.
Kids really can't sing, AJ.
That's true. So I've heard.
So I mean, honestly, I'm pretty impressed.
Considering what they're able to do on the Animals Christmas.
Exactly. Children can't sing, so it's kind of a high part for me. But that I really don't have a lot to say about this one either. It's just kind of a boring.
It's kind of like the Creatures of the Field, like musically. It kind of reminds me of that. It sounds pretty similar. The story is Gabriel is telling Joseph, "You got cucked, my man, but but it's gonna be our savior. So go to Bethlehem." Is that where they go?
Probably.
I didn't read the manga.
Yeah, I think it's Bethlehem.
Yeah, but so it's basically Gabriel informing Joseph what's going on, and then they march off to Bethlehem to give birth.
That's pretty much the whole crux of the song. Mm-hmm. It's really not a lot to talk about. It's just the instrumental sounds pretty much the same. Yeah. Other than the few instruments that like I kind of mentioned before.
Sprinkled throughout, yeah.
But I do not have anything to say about this. There are later ones where I do. I promise family heads. I do have other stuff to say about this album.
But a bulk of this album is just not that interesting.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
But this next one is definitely interesting for the title alone.
It's called The Incredible Phat.
Mm-hmm. PH.
I wrote Phat. No, it's a nice medieval, again, woodland kind of sounding score.
Yeah, medieval's a good word for this track, yeah.
This is the one where I said it reminds me of How to Train Your Dragon. Like I can very much see a bit of like similarity to that.
Okay.
Maybe we could say that How to Train Your Dragon is the Animals Christmas
of the DreamWorks.
Of children's media in general. I will not lie to you. This one, for some reason, stood out to me a little bit, and I did add it to my Christmas playlist.
Okay.
Which is becoming obscenely long now because I've been discovering a lot.
I think this one is all right. The storytelling, I think, is also kind of interesting here. How the cat is like their savior because they go to. The story is they end up in Bethlehem at this inn. And the inn is packed. It's full of people because it's the coldest night of the year. Yeah. And the innkeeper denies them room because they don't have any. So the cat takes them out back to this shack, which Art Garfunkel fucking shouts when he says that.
I know.
he just screams the word shack, and it's very, very, very jarring.
No, I would imagine he does have kind of like a higher voice, so like him shrieking kind of sounds.
Just like because especially when it's so peaceful, like musically, and then it just like goes like very loud. It's like whoa,
shack.
But the cat who is named Phat takes them to the shack where they are set up to give birth to Jesus in the manger, I guess.
The Phat in the shack.
A tale as old as time.
I think song structure wise, I actually really like this one because the first line, it starts off with like the first, like it changes keys. Yeah. Like by the end, it's in like A major or whatever, or F sharp minor. I don't really give a shit, guys. No, like there's like a nice little like instrumental breakdown where it kind of turns into like minor. Mm-hmm. And then it goes back into like the first line of the whole song again. I forget what it was because yet again, this album is kind of a slog to get through. But I think it's nice. There's some parts where I think Art Garfunkel like layered his voice, and he's like harmonizing with himself in like a 3 or 4 part harmony, and I was like, wow, that sounds really really cool.
Yeah, like at times his voice kind of sounds like Peter Gabriel. Yeah, which I was like, oh cool, I like that. But he's fine on this album.
I will say this album made me really realize, because I have never listened to Art Garfunkel's solo stuff. It made me realize how much his voice was great as he was singing the Paul Simon arrangements.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even though they really didn't like each other that much, but that's okay.
Because they're not together anymore.
Exactly.
Next up, we have the Friendly Beasts. I believe Jesus is born here, which feels wrong because we're halfway through the album. I feel like I didn't know the story of Jesus goes on that long. I thought it just ends when he's born.
I thought Jesus was born like 3 tracks later. I thought it was Carol of the Birds.
Carol of the Birds. Is that true? I think he's born here, and the animals are just kind of like saying, this is what I did for Jesus. I gave him my manger. I gave him my wool for a blanket. And it's also not interesting.
It's not interesting whatsoever. Yeah, no, I'm actually going to look this up real quick.
All right, we'll take a little break.
Oh, shit, you're right. He was born here.
Let's go.
Interesting.
I know my Jesus lore. Thank you, Garfunkel.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Garfunkel.
I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot of notes to say about this. This is the one part where I was like, okay, there are too many children singing. I need to turn this off.
It is interesting for the story of the birth of Jesus. There's a lot of filler on this track.
Yeah.
They just kind of like throw like random animals in there and just like, it's your time now. There's some nice French horns in the song that I quite enjoyed during the sheep's verse specifically. But other than that, not anything special.
Yeah. No, nothing really special whatsoever. It's just very neutral.
Yeah.
It's very like...
It's fine, but it's not for me.
I would also agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm really eager to talk about this next track, though.
This next one kind of fucks.
It really does.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. It's track number 7, moving on from number 6 because it was just really boring. The Song of the Camels.
Yeah, we got the little 6'8" fucking snake charmer oboe.
Dude, I know. I was like,
damn.
holy shit. It's just like, it's so...
Or not 6'8", 3'4", my bad.
It's okay. Don't let it happen again. But it's such a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Because something actually happens.
I know, there's variety. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it sounds like something out of like the Kingdom Hearts like Agrabah level. Just a little bit.
What's Agrabah?
That's like where Aladdin lives.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen like any of the classic Disney movies.
You're not missing much,
Cool.
to be honest with you. But yeah, no, it sounds like sort of the background music of that a little bit.
Okay.
And I like it.
Yes.
It's like a nice waltz meter, as AJ just mentioned. And yeah, no, it's this one kind of grew on me a little bit upon the second listen, I would say.
The feel of this one is definitely a very nice change of pace, and I do like the instrumentation a lot. And story-wise, it's the Camels bringing the wise men, I think.
Yes.
To the nativity.
Yes, I do remember this part.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, it's a nice instrumental change of pace.
Yes.
This next one is called the Word from an Old Spanish Carol.
Yes.
I said that I like when it picks up in tempo, but overall it's again very boring.
Yeah, this song just lists things, which this album likes to do. It just likes to list things that happen.
Yeah.
So this lists all the animals that showed up for the birth of Jesus, I believe. A big fucking guest list, I guess.
I was about to be like, did they have like a guard at the door or something like that?
They had like a fish they brought. It's like, how'd you do that?
He flopped all the way
from the river.
It's kind of just boring.
Yeah. Also, I don't like how they emphasize how white this bird is. They bring it up at least like 3 times.
Oh man, dude, he was the whitest fucking bird.
Not only was he the white bird, he was the white bird.
Oh Jesus!
I know they say that like 2 or 3 times. It's crazy.
Could you imagine if like an extra person shows up, like who invited the blackbird?
It's like, whoa, man, whoa, you can't say that.
Yo, Mr. Zebra, what the fuck is wrong with you? How could you say that? That's crazy.
Sounds a little hypocritical, if I'm being honest.
Oh man, this is crazy.
Oh fuck, we gotta make our own fun because this album isn't.
I hate this album, but it's okay. Actually, I don't hate it. We'll get to that in a little bit. But honestly, really nothing else to say about it.
No, I like the acoustic guitars. I feel like that's a nice change of pace from the orchestration. And there's a Piccolo solo, and Piccolo's my favorite Dragon Ball character.
So it counts for something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next up, Carol the Birds.
I actually thought Jesus was born here, but they're decreeing something. Because there's like a fanfare going on.
With the horns in the beginning, which do sound very nice.
They do.
I do kind of like the feel of the song, like the way it kind of like just moves.
This is like a 6-8 meter, right?
I think so. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember there was like a 6-8 meter thing happening because I wrote it for here. It's very graceful.
Yeah.
It's also only 2 minutes.
That's true.
So I'll take it. I'm very happy with that. The harmonies are really good on this one. Like really, really good on this one. And I do like it.
Like the children's choir does a pretty nice job. Is Amy Grant on this one too?
I think so, for like a little bit.
And she's good as always on this album.
Yeah.
Lore-wise, I don't really know what's happening. I think it's the birds are telling everyone that Jesus has been born, I think.
Damn, no wonder Herod finds out.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Open their big fucking mouth.
Jesus Christ.
Literally,
yeah. That's kind of it. It's just like a graceful sort of like, he's here,
decree.
He's here, Jesus is here. Like
essentially,
yeah, pretty much.
Next up is a personal favorite of mine. We have the frog.
I found this one also kind of boring. I'm not going to lie to
That's
you.
fair. It goes on for way too long.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Had this just been, like a little 3-minute goofy skit about this frog who just wants to sing for Jesus, I think it would have been good. But it just keeps going, and then it kind of transitions into the lame kind of just orchestral sound that we used to on this album.
Yeah.
But I like the piano a lot. It reminds me of Breath of the Wild music.
I can definitely see that with the way that the piano is kind of like
accenting. Yeah.
Because that's what Breath of the Wild does all the time. It'll play like 4 or 5 notes or whatever, and then
just like accent like what's going on screen.
Pretty much. But with nothing to accompany the accentation, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's just this frog hopping along. The animals also bully him, and it's kind of funny. I laughed at that. They called him blasphemous for daring to disturb Jesus' slumber.
The blasphemous frog.
There's also a lyric to the Son of God, Aborning, which I believe means to be in mid-birth, which is really weird because Jesus was already born, and I don't like that. That's a word either.
Aborning?
Yeah.
Well, I abhor this album as a whole, I gotta say.
Yeah, but this next track, not so much.
This next track, honestly, kind of fucks. It's called Herod.
Yeah.
Secret's out, guys. He's born.
Those fucking birds, I swear to God.
I'm looking at you, white bird! Was it you? That's what Joseph say. He's like, who told him about my son?
The fucking zebra was right.
Oh man.
Holy shit.
The fucking zebra was right. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, this is sort of like a doom orchestral, like.
Yeah, it's like the villain song of the album.
Because we needed one, apparently.
I didn't know. Jesus has a rival.
An arch nemesis, if you will.
Yeah. Herod the Curious.
Herod. Is that his fucking name?
Yeah, that's what they say in the lyrics.
That's
Herod the Curious.
Herod the Curious. That's not good.
What's he curious about?
Where is he? Where's Jesus? I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna kill him. You know?
I'll follow those birds. They seem to know.
Ooh, a little birdie told me. The zebra has like a. The zebra looks like
dragging the finger across his neck.
He's looking at the birds. It's like, I'm gonna fucking get you. No, we haven't even talked about the actual track yet, AJ.
We haven't.
That's how boring this album is. Yeah, no, this instrumental actually like kind of fucks.
Yeah, it's a very nice change of pace.
It's like this weird sort of like doom, like orchestra,
Yeah.
like, you know, because Herod, for those who don't know about Bible lore, Herod, once he finds out that Jesus is happening, he, for lack of better words, once he finds out that Jesus is about to grace Aborn, yeah, he basically sends out this sort of I don't want to say Order 66.
That's accurate though.
He basically orders for like all infants to be killed.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
A little bit, but hey, it's the Holy Bible.
And it's good, and there's no flaws with it whatsoever.
Yeah, no, none whatsoever. Just ask the frog. But but yeah, no. This is honestly probably one of the more higher. Higher. This is probably one of the higher points of the album. I love the weird swanky jazz section for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, literally. It's like for one bar of the lyrics towards the very end, Art Garfunkel just fucking swings for a little bit.
It kind of reminds me of Mr. Bungle, like in a couple of different places.
Yeah, totally.
For like quote unquote, I think, because there's like a little jazz section in that.
Little interlude.
There's like a few of them actually on that album, but we're not talking about Mr. Bungle.
God, I wish we were.
Yeah, I know. Listen to our penultimate episode of the Family Album Season 1.
Yep.
With Ben and Evan.
Fan favorites.
Well, to us. We like Ben and Evan. But yeah, no. One last thing. At one point, there's this part where Art Garfunkel's like, oh, the jackals, they say. And I thought they were like, Jack. And I was like, what? They're like, jack. I deadass thought they were about to
do the South Park bit.
Like, could you imagine? Like, I don't think jackals say Jack. What are they, Pokemon? Like,
come on, Art.
Do better, man.
I like the guitar on this one a lot. The electric guitar is very fucking nice and needed, and I'm glad it's here.
Not to reference another piece of Jesus media, but this reminded me of the like finale song of Godspell.
Okay.
Which is like another like rock musical.
Yeah.
It's the lesser liked one than Jesus Christ Superstar.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, this one's more like hippie.
Okay.
If you want to be honest with you. But there's a song on there that's depicting Jesus being crucified in like more of a gentle way. It's weird.
Okay.
I mean, it's obviously not gentle whatsoever, but like it's not like Jesus Christ Superstar when they're like literally showing it. They have like these ribbons. It's a whole theatric. But no, this instrumentally reminds me of that.
Gotcha.
A lot.
Very cool.
AJ.
Yeah.
I have bad news for you.
What's that?
This album is almost over.
Oh no.
We have Wild Geese. And to be honest with you, I didn't take any fucking notes for it.
Dude, I got nothing for this track.
It's just boring. I listened to it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that stands out to me.
Couldn't really tell you much about besides the lore because I'm the Jesus lore keeper now. That's my official title. But yeah, musically it's just more of the same, just instrumental stuff, scoring the story, and it's fine, but it's not interesting.
It's not at all. If you want to hear some interesting Geese, you should actually listen to our first episode of November.
Yes.
Geese and Built to Spill. Both very, very good albums.
Yeah, fun indie rock albums.
Of course. But AJ, I don't want to talk about track number 12. It's boring.
Okay.
Let's get to our final thoughts.
Sounds good. Matt, what did you think of The Animals' Christmas?
This album is overall pretty boring. I didn't realize how much, like I said before, how much I missed Paul Simon's like arrangements. Like Art brought the voice and then Paul kind of brought like, the arrangements and the musicality. And I really feel like without that, and also this is kind of a weird
concept
to engage for so long, for 42 minutes. To be honest with you, it's just it goes nowhere.
Yeah, there's really nothing exciting about this album. All of it sounds pretty similar. And the concept is ambitious and I think it's utilized to, I'd say, its creative extent, but it's not really a good concept in the first place.
Not really, no. That's kind of the main crux of how I feel for the most part.
Like it's not a bad album. It's very well competently made, but I just don't really care for it.
Like if you don't really listen in, you're not going to find anything truly wrong with it. But if you're trying to look at this as critically as an album, it's very boring. It's paced super slowly, despite each track only being 2 minutes. It's paced very, very slowly. All the arrangements just sound way too similar to one another. And it's a neat concept. It's ambitious, but it kind of had me flipping between like, oh, I like this, and oh, this is boring.
Yeah.
So I got to be honest with you, AJ. I'm putting this in D tier.
D tier. All right.
Like production wise, it's fine. It's just I will not listen to this again, except maybe Incredible Phat and maybe Song of the Camels, because those are just very interesting. Like, I don't know, they're the most interesting parts of this. Yeah. And I'm only gonna listen to them during Christmas.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna listen to this like all year round.
So a D tier, and what would you give it numerically?
Numerically, I'm gonna give this like a 4 point. Let's say like 4.7.
4.7.
Maybe 4.8 if I'm feeling very plucky. A little punchy.
But I feel like that's very accurate for this album.
It just kind of stalls and goes nowhere. Yeah. It has some nice like high upbeat moments, but then just like the rest of the album's kind of just bland. It's bland. It just kind of wanders for way too long.
Bland is a very good word for this album. Even though it is competently made and it's produced very, very well and it sounds good, it doesn't sound interesting. It's annoying to get through. There's not a lot of musical moments that really stand out. It's more so just background noise. And as I said, the story is very weird. It works in some places, really doesn't in other places. So overall, I'd say D plus C minus. Like if you're like religious and like you want to kind of like teach your kids about the nativity, then maybe show them this album. I feel like that could be kind of cute, but like otherwise, this album's kind of purposeless.
A little bit. It just kind of it lacks direction. Yeah, quite a lot, despite it having a very clear-cut story.
That's a really good way to put that. Yeah,
you know, everybody knows what most people know what the story is, but at the same time, it's like
from this angle, what are we getting out of this?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, did we need this? I feel like it would have been interesting if they even made Herod more of a character. Yeah, but I guess this is supposed to be more of like a gentle like thing. You know what I mean? So
and Herod the Curious, he's not gentle.
But yeah, that's pretty much The Animals' Christmas. I chose it just because I was like, I've never heard anybody talk about this. Yeah. And now you know why.
We are the definitive Animals' Christmas review now.
AJ, you know this by now. Yeah. That's not where our episodes end. We don't just do one album. We do 2 albums.
We do 2 albums, man. So let's do our other album, a good one, Pictures at an Exhibition by Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
You know, I really had no idea what to expect when I was listening to this album. And I got to say, it's quite a fun listen.
Yeah.
It's paced very, very well. Because what is it,
30 minutes.
38 minutes, yeah. I had a lot of fun. There are a lot of really, really fun little like
Instrumentals.
I guess we had to have a really fun instrumental record, live record, to make up for the lack of
interesting instrumentals,
creative risk in the Animals Christmas.
Yeah.
But AJ, tell me about Emerson, Lake and Palmer and about Pictures at an Exhibition.
All right. So Pictures at an Exhibition was released in November 1971 on Island Records, and it is a live album of a concert performed at Newcastle City Hall on March 26, 1971. It is also the group's take on Modest Mussorgsky's?
I think that, I think that's how it's pronounced.
Modest Mussorgsky's 10-movement piano suite of the same name.
And let me tell you, it's a very, very well done, I'd say, depiction and adaptation, I guess. That's just the best. I know there's a better word, but I can't think of it.
I think adaptation fits. They don't do every movement of Mussorgsky's piece, but they do most of it. And add some original stuff on top of that.
And I listened to some of the original ones, and it's cool where they picked out certain little sections of each piece to do, because they do it well.
Yeah.
And they pace it very, very well.
I know. Really fucking cool instrumentals. A good concept.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of works.
Shall we jump right in, AJ?
Sounds good. First up, we have Promenade Part 1, and this is a great intro.
I love it. I love just this organ motif.
Yeah.
It comes back, I think, two more times.
Yeah,
and let me tell you, it starts at such a high note for the album.
Yeah.
I also love just the audience being so hype.
Yeah.
This is another example, because Ben mentioned this when we listened to Rock Spectacle. This is another one where it's even though it's a live album, the audience does not detract from it.
No,
and
it adds.
And it's mixed so well where you're not hearing the audience so much. You know what I mean?
And the moments you do, it just adds to the track.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, as you said, hearing them get so hyped for these fucking prog nerds with their synths makes me so happy. I feel seen.
It's honestly quite a fun listen. I really like the way that this starts off, though, and this really peaceful note.
Yeah.
And it only gets better from here.
Exactly. They definitely elaborate on this motif a lot, and this is a good way to start out. Next up, we have the Gnome, and I feel like this is a cool transition into a very kind of silly track.
It is silly, but let me tell you, those fucking drum fills at the very beginning, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, man.
Dude, the audience, this is the part where I was like, wow, I kept forgetting this was a live album.
Yeah.
I think that kind of happened with Rock Spectacle a little bit, to reference the penultimate episode.
That's a common theme of this episode.
1. Yeah, that's the main thing that we're harking back to each time.
Exactly.
But no, yeah, I love the quick stops that happen in this song, where the drums and organ have a convo.
Yeah.
And then the usage of the wah pedal.
Yeah,
is so
it's great.
Cool.
And also just all the different effects and different kind of keyboards that Keith Emerson is using. It always adds on to this very complex sounding sound.
Now, I'm not very versed in Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Who's playing what here?
So Keith Emerson's on keys.
Okay.
Greg Lake is on vocals, guitar, and bass, and Carl Palmer's on drums.
Awesome. Well, Carl Palmer, I think you deserve a raise.
Yeah, definitely a highlight on this album. A lot of it, he's not really playing beats. He's more so accenting what everyone else is playing.
In an effective way.
Exactly, yeah.
That's actually good.
Unlike the frog.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it works very well here for whatever the band is playing. And there are moments where it gets just kind of four on the floor. But here, it works very well, especially with his fills, goddamn.
Oh, no, they're incredible. It reminds me of She's So Heavy by the Beatles.
Okay.
The boom, 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 boom. It reminds me of that with the way that they kind of just it's this, not sluggish kind of beat, but it's I don't know.
Delayed?
I guess. I don't know. It's very getting down and dirty.
Lumbering.
Yeah. A few other things I really want to say. I have a lot to say about a lot of these tracks, so I'm very excited. The synth noises, the noise that they're using for the synth, it's so wet, and I love it so much. And this track overall, I love the way that its usage of channels.
Oh, very, very good.
Very, very good, especially on this track, and I think a few other ones.
Towards the end, it kind of pans back and forth, which is really cool.
Do you know who produced this? Was it 3 of them, or was it
I do not know. Let's take a little break. Oh shit! Yeah, it was self-produced by Greg Lake.
That's tight.
Whoa, very cool. Talented man.
I really like the way that this is produced because, like I said, you forget it's a live album.
Yeah, it's very high quality.
Super, super high quality. But AJ, it only gets better from here, let me tell you.
That's true.
But yes, this is track number 3, The Promenade Part 2.
Yes.
And again, I really just love the way that this organ is sort of like, this is like a concept, right? I listened to a little bit of the original score, but I don't know like what it's about. It's like,
Oh, neither do I.
I think it's just like takes on like an art museum. I don't know.
Oh, yes. It's based off of someone's paintings. And I think it's like kind of like trying to musically adapt what would be in those paintings, I believe.
Just like musically depict what like the vibe is pretty much.
I think so.
Kind of like how Chris Martin did with Viva La Vida on Coldplay.
Whoa. I guess Viva La Vida is the pictures at an exhibition of 2008.
We can't tear on this album at all. This album's too perfect for that.
Yeah, it's epic.
But I do like the Promenade Part 2, especially because I just like the organ and the vocals. It reminds me of The Way I Feel Inside by the Zombies. Okay. Which is very, have you ever listened to it?
I don't think so.
Dude, honestly, it's one of my favorite songs by them. It's just the lead singer just on an organ and just singing. It's nice. It's very atmospheric and very peaceful. I really would kill to see this album live.
I know.
But I like when it goes back to the whole promenade theme. Yeah. Because it honestly just like...
It's like a checkpoint.
It's a check. Yeah. Like in a video game or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's so like nice and like almost like heavenly.
Yeah, it's a lot more mellow than the intro, which is saying something because the intro is also very peaceful. But like here, it feels a lot lighter. The vocals definitely add another layer of just like calm to this piece.
It's very hymn-like.
Yeah,
like a hymn.
A hymn.
But the pacing, very, very nice. Nice change of pace after the goofy gnome.
Yeah, and it segues very well into probably one of, if not my favorite tracks on the album, The Sage.
This is definitely one of the highest points of the album.
Oh, it's so fucking good. And this is an original by ELP. This is
lovely.
One of their takes.
I love this. Like there's this really nice, like the meat of it is like this arpeggiated guitar. Yeah. And like it kind of reminds me, I keep saying it reminds me of things, but that's just how good it is. Like it's reminding me of all the best parts of all these songs that I like. You know, in the title track of Innuendo by Queen, like there's like the little guitar, like Spanish guitar part before Steve Howe absolutely just like rips on it. There's like this little Spanish guitar part, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. Yeah. But we have this nice instrumental track here on The Sage. It's like nymph-like. Yeah,
it starts off with the goofy moog keys and such, but then it segues into an acoustic piece with Greg Lake's vocals, just telling this like really like vivid picture of a sage, I guess. I don't remember the lyrics.
Neither do I.
But just the feel of it is very, very nice.
It's very pleasant, and I love just the classically brilliant like guitar work. It's like it's so calm, but it's still like captivating. Yeah, like
much like King Crimson in a way, which makes sense because Greg Lake was the original vocalist of King Crimson,
of Court Crimson King.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite album.
I think I just had a stroke. You know, now that you mention it, it does really remind me of I Talk to the Wind.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Like, since you brought that up, I keep forgetting this is a live album.
I know.
It's so like well mixed.
Yeah, like the way it sounds, it doesn't even sound like he's on a stage. It sounds like he's in a studio, or honestly, like in like a fantasy fucking land, and it's like diegetic. Anyway, anything else about The Sage?
I love the way it does like the fast finger picking, and then it has like the muted tones. Like it's very, very nice.
And just like the main riff is so soothing. I love it.
I like it a lot. This is definitely one of the high points of the album. Yeah. But again, it does get better.
Yeah. Next up, we have The Old Castle and a little bit of return to form. Very spastic, goofy moog keys, and I love it.
Let me tell you, when I first started listening to this, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But, man, honestly, it's very avant-garde, just a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of noodling.
But there's this fucking breakdown, though.
Yeah, man.
And when they cook, they start really cooking.
Yeah, dude. They just fucking let Emerson go off. Palmer compliments him beautifully. The bass line is just chugging along.
The synth solo is just insane.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it was longer.
Yeah, this is one of the shorter tracks on the album. And I think it could benefit from being expanded upon more, but as it is, I think it's still a lot of fun.
Speaking of benefiting, it kind of reminds me of a Beatles song called Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite off of Sgt. Pepper.
I see.
Just sort of like in the weird like goofiness of it, because there's like a weird almost like circus-esque thing, I think, going on.
Okay.
Like I can like that's what I was sort of feeling a little bit.
Gotcha. In this old castle. We spent too much time together,
Yeah,
Matt.
it's true. Even though we haven't really been in the studio that much. Like,
That is true. It's been a minute.
it has been a minute, but it's still too much at the same time. It does segue very nicely, though, into probably one, if not my favorite, one of my favorites.
I would say as well.
And that is Blues Variation.
This one just fucking rips.
It's so good.
And also, this is not a part of Mussorgsky's movement. This is an ELP original.
It's very, very good. I love the way it kind of dives into like the sort of surf rock.
Yeah,
like,
dude. The trilling guitars.
It's really, really good.
Got your little blues shuffle on there.
The drums are just absolutely fucking like tearing through this track. There's this organ solo that's just like killing it.
Yeah.
Like so good.
Dude, Greg Lake's bass line is sexy as fuck on the song.
I agree.
It's so good.
It's a very cool riff throughout the whole thing. And I love the way they just kind of go through it. I figured this one at least was probably not part of like the adaptation, but it fills it very nicely, I think.
It sounds like it fits in.
It really, really does. The consistency on this album, even besides like production and stuff like that, the consistency of like the actual arrangements that they're doing is also very much to be commended.
Yeah, I mean, prog musicians, so they're fucking incredible.
Of course. Yeah. They're mathing it up, man.
Exactly.
Man, let me tell you, the keyboard player, what's his name again? Keith Emerson. Let me tell you, he's been practicing his church modes. Let me tell you, my man.
Dude, he has so many fucking like keys that he for this concert. He has, let me see.
Is it like a rack with like six keys?
He has an organ, like 2 different Moogs, a clavinet. He's got like a whole fucking setup on the stage, and he utilizes it very effectively.
AJ, this is going to be a little bit of a side tangent, so bear with me. Have you ever heard of an artist called Hiromi?
I don't think so.
She is a Japanese city pop and jazz like composer. She just released a new album called Sonic Wonderland.
Okay.
Let me tell you, man, she just did a Tiny Desk NPR concert.
Oh.
Family Heads and AJ, I high key recommend listening to it.
Hell yeah.
It's probably one of the like best things I've listened to this year.
Okay.
She is on a level of piano playing that like I think most pianists would ever dream to be.
Right.
It's insane.
So like, is it city pop?
It's like city pop. It's more like jazz, I'd say.
All right.
But then it has some city pop elements, but she freaking like shreds on the Moog. She has like a baby grand with like a little like synthesizer on top.
Yeah.
Then she has like a red piano thingy. What are they called? Nord. She has a Nord off to the side. You should look up the NPR Tiny Desk concert and check out Sonic Wonderland.
I'll definitely check it out. That sounds really cool.
And she also is accompanied by a trumpet player, a drummer who mainly uses brushes.
Okay.
But somehow still rips.
Nice.
And then they have like a bass player. And he with a 5-string bass, which is also pretty cool. But yeah, no, please check that out.
I will definitely check that. That sounds really cool.
Worth your while, everybody.
Fuck yeah.
But guys, we're not talking about Sonic Wonderland by Hiromi.
No, we're talking about Pictures at an Exhibition by ELP.
Which is just as good, let me tell you. Yeah, Blues Variation, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And I love just when they break it down. It's everything about this. It's all held together so nicely.
It's nice and slow. They just do the accents. Da-dun, da-dun. It fucking rips towards the end. Love that.
I love me a good walking bass line.
Yep.
Like where it's like doon, 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 like kind of like that. That sounded like Keyboard Cat. I didn't mean for it to sound like Keyboard Cat.
Intrusive thoughts took over.
It's okay. That was just that's what I imagine when I think of a walking bass line. But anyway, I think we've talked about Blues Variation.
Yeah.
Plenty.
And now I move on to the conclusion of the Promenade Suite with Promenade Part 3. And what a grand conclusion it is.
Dude, when the drums come in, it sounds so triumphant.
I know,
it sounds like
man.
I'm in like a royal like court of some kind.
Yeah.
A court of the Crimson King,
maybe.
if you will.
Yeah.
It may be. I don't know. No, it's so nice. Like this arrangement this is part of like the original. And let me tell you, it's just so nicely done through and through. There's like this guitar and organ that's just like they're really just complementing each other throughout it. It's like got this nice little like marching pace.
Yeah, the drums
happening.
just kind of accent everything.
And oh my god, like I want to rule a country, so I can use this as its anthem.
Your anthem.
Yeah.
Please rise for the Promenade Part 3.
Oh man, show me what you got. But I think it's a very, very nice callback to the first two.
Definitely.
Yet it's also not like
derivative.
No, it's not derivative, and it builds up each time. Like all three versions are so worth the listen.
And they're so different from each other that they're all enjoyable in their own right.
They are. There are no vocals on this one, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like I would have written if there are vocals on this one, but oh man, like it really just leaves a lasting impression.
Yeah.
This is such a good, this is a great album to listen to in full for the first time.
Definitely. Or just like put on the background. I feel like it's just really good instrumental, like background music.
It is. It's also very short.
True.
So we should keep going. And AJ, I do have a confession to make.
What's that?
So these next three tracks kind of go together.
Yeah.
The first one is called The Hut of Baba Yaga.
Part 1.
There's 3 Baba Yaga tracks.
Yes.
That are happening.
The Baba Yaga suite.
And I got, if you will, and I got to say, this might have been my least favorite part of the album.
Okay. That's fair.
It's like, they're great. And let me tell you, I really love the way that they do the instrumentals here. However, I personally am just, I don't know.
I think both Huts I like, but Curse I'm not a huge fan of.
Yaga the Hut.
Yaga the Hut. Yeah. I think it just goes on a little too long, but I think it's still impressive musically.
That's better than anything I could do. I can tell you that much.
Also, I do have nostalgia for Baba Yaga because when I was in high school in marching band, one of our performances, like our halftime shows, utilized the Hut of Baba Yaga in one of its pieces. So I have like huge nostalgia for like this like melody. So it's always a treat coming back to that.
No, it was very, very nice. And there are some things that I like about like these 3 tracks.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the organ in the Hut of Baba Yaga Part 1 is just so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe how like abstract they kind of made this sound. Like, and they all are able to just stop and go on a dime too, which is so impressive. It's a fascinating change of pace. It's not my favorite, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to knock on this song. I just personally didn't care for it.
In comparison.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I kind of like The Curse of Baba Yaga the best.
Interesting. Okay. I guess it is the most like developed out of all of them. I just really love like the melody of both of the Huts. Plus, like the little breakdown, with the that part just fucking rules.
It's very good. I very much enjoy.
But Curse is a lot of fun too.
There's like a weird like Tom Morello kind of kind of thing going on here, and it's a fun little time.
Yeah.
Man, the bass on this is so fucking nice.
It's very funky.
So fucking funky.
Got your 16th note hi-hats in there as well. Wait, 16th note snare hits.
It's okay.
My bad, I couldn't read.
I'm not a drummer, so I would have believed you either way. But I love just like the impending doom that this track embodies.
This is lumbering.
This is lumbering. This is pod racing.
This is the family album.
There's like utter calamity that's being implied in this track.
There's some cowbell.
This is this one is using the old material.
I think it's using pieces, but the majority of Curse is more for ELP.
But the Hut?
Both Huts are.
Both Huts? Okay. Gotcha. Also, like, the lyrics, I love the way he just kind of, like...
just spits them out just so fast. So when everything, like, starts increasing in tempo, just getting really chaotic.
This sounds like some of Jimi Hendrix's more, like, really, like, crazy work.
Okay.
Like, with the guitars. And also some of the vocals, I won't lie.
Okay. Yeah. So. Fair. I just really love the intensity, like, towards the end when everything just, like, starts picking up. It just sounds so fucking crazy. And then it segues perfectly into Hut of Baba Yaga Part 2, where it keeps up that energy, but just... goes back to the same melody from Part 1, but just a lot faster and crazier with increased tempos. And I think it's a lot of fun.
It's a nice way to close off the song. And honestly, the finger work on this second part is just insane.
Yeah.
This is where I feel like it really, really shines.
Those fucking organ slides too. Oof.
So good. So fucking good. I don't really have a lot to say about Part 2, to be honest with you.
No, we move on to the final track of
the base of this.
Pictures at an Exhibition.
Yes.
Which is the Great Gates of Kiev, and it is definitely it fits a closer vibe very well.
Bro, it's triumphant, it's victorious. Again, it somehow also sounds like a church hymn, but it's not, so I like it.
So it's epic.
The vocals are just so emotion-filled.
Yeah.
AJ, death is love, death is life.
It's all ogre.
You said it, Matt.
He just says death is life, not death is love.
Death is love. Gotcha. Took me a second.
It's okay. It's okay. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
It's a quickie. But I love the solo organ breaks in the song.
Yeah.
I really like them.
I love how it just continuously builds. I like the Promenade motif kind of slides in there as well, really kind of encapsulating this whole album. Carl Palmer's drumming is very impressive here. Just the fast rolls and fills during the vocals towards the outro is very impressive. Doesn't really lead too much on like the kind of noodling that's been going on. It's more so just very straightforward, which I think is appreciated by this point.
It is.
And definitely fits the closer very well.
It almost sounds like the only way I can like describe this track is like holy terror, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like with the way that the guitar sound, with the way that like most of the arrangements are like very like ethereal sounding.
Yeah.
I feel like the way they have the guitar sounding just so chaotic and broken. I don't even know. It sounds like just like chaos from the gods or some shit. I don't know. It's so interesting.
But it works.
It does. And like between the vocals and the guitar, they really just took you on a journey even in this track alone. And honestly, the whole thing is a journey.
Yeah, it's a really fun journey.
It's fun. But not Journey. We don't, not the band Journey.
No, I met Neil Sean. He's kind of a dick.
Did you actually?
I did. I interviewed him in college. He was kind of an asshole.
No, I wouldn't expect anything less.
But you know what's not an asshole? This bonus track.
About nuts.
Exactly.
This is the Nutrocker.
And this is how it's a Christmas themed album.
For those who are wondering, after we talk about Baba Yaga and the Gnome and the gates of Kiev.
The sage.
Yeah. No.
This is where it all comes into play.
Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, they do a little adaptation of the dun 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 dun.
But it rocks.
It rocked my nuts, man.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, the way that they adapted this is just so good.
I know.
They do this weird like syncopation with the melody.
Yep.
I don't even remember how it goes, but I was like, God damn, this is really cool. They change up the rhythms a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's also this like, they do this like really, really cool thing with the claves.
Like the dink dink.
Oh, I was talking about the
Oh, the clavinet.
clavinet.
Yeah.
Too many claves, way too many claves.
That's true.
No, but like they do with the keys with the clavinets. They do like this really fucking cool like solo thing. It's so good.
Fucking rips.
And the drums on this one, holy shit.
Yeah, it's straightforward for the most part, but the fills are fucking incredible. I especially love when it accents just going around the kid like a bunch of times. And then the bass line.
Oh my God.
When it's just fucking walking down. I love it.
So good. Tchaikovsky would be proud, I think.
Yeah.
Genuinely. I like to, because there are a couple artists who like to adapt things into like rock versions, like ELO is a huge one.
Totally.
And I think honestly, like I'd love to see how composers would feel after listening to these adaptations.
So it's funny you mention that because a bunch of video game composers actually cite ELP as like one of their biggest influences.
Okay.
It could be Koji Kondo. Like I feel like he cited them. I'm gonna double check that right now.
I meant more like the composers who arranged like the original composition, how they would feel if they saw like if
the modern interpretation.
If Tchaikovsky was still alive, I wonder how he'd feel about it. I feel like he'd kind of like it. That he probably wouldn't understand it though, because he'd be
that makes more sense for the discussion you were trying to have than the guy who made Mario and Zelda music.
I mean, hey, I'm glad you brought it up. It's okay, because I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
but no, like I mean, feel like Tchaikovsky would be like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is that?
This rocks my nuts.
It rocks my nuts." Oh my God. Oh man, that should not have made me laugh as hard as it did. But
something that makes me laugh on this track is when I think it's Greg Lake just fucking screams, "Yeah!"
Yeah, he does. I do remember that. That audience really wanted an encore. You can start hearing them.
I know.
Like,
one more.
They didn't. They did not.
It always ends with Nutrocker, guys.
Every fucking time.
Exactly.
It ends with the Nutrocker. What more can you ask for? But AJ,
yeah,
I think I'm ready for to conclude.
Final thoughts? Matt, what did you think of Pictures at an Exhibition by ELP?
Dude, this was an outstanding performance.
Hell yeah.
I love the way that their musicianship is just absolutely insane. I honestly just couldn't believe how amazing the variations were.
Yeah.
Like my ears felt like graced. I can't describe it as anything else. Like they felt graced, you know? The fact that like the organs were kind of like almost the main like
kind of like backbone of this album.
The vertebrae. It's like it's so unique and so like key forward, and I really, really like that as like a key player. So honestly, yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is about as prog rock can get. And let me tell you, I'm very glad that we had the Christmas song to tie it in.
Exactly.
Somehow.
So we can talk about it.
AJ, just so the audience knows, what was the album you were originally going to choose for this?
So I realized on this show I never brought an album that I hated. That was supposed to be American football, but then, you know, the American football situation happened and I really liked it.
Yes.
But I was trying to bring in Angelic to the Core by Corey Feldman in because I wanted to talk about a bad album. And you know, it's Angel, so it's kind of Christmas themed.
Of course, naturally.
But then I was like, this album is an hour and a half long and we have to bulk record episodes. So I'm not going to put us through that. We're talking about a good album with a slight Christmas theme.
No, without a doubt. And honestly, I'm very happy because I did take like a little bit of a listen of the first track.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know if I really want to do this.
Yeah. I had never listened to it previously, so I had no prior experience besides just hearing it's bad. So that definitely wouldn't have helped either.
From what I heard of the first track, it definitely wasn't good.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. But I'm glad. I think that the Christmas little nut rocker at the very end, I think it was just a nice touch.
Exactly.
And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is a almost flawless A tier. Let's say like a 9.6.
Nice.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Hell yeah. Probably no surprise, I quite enjoy this album. Shout out to Evan for showing it to me back in high school.
Evan. Yeah.
But it's definitely one of the best live albums in terms of quality and musicianship. Conceptually too, it's just really interesting that they would just perform this like modern adaptation to this like classic suite and do it so effectively, and people really fucking liked it. That's awesome. But I agree. I think having like such key-led songs makes this stand out from its peers, and it's just everything just culminates into a really enjoyable 38-minute experience. So solid 8s here as well. Very good album.
Very, very good album. Again, I kept forgetting it was a live album. The musicianship, the production, the arrangements, I guess rearrangements if you really want to go there, all flawless.
Yeah.
Just incredible. But AJ, that brings us to the end of the episode.
Yep.
And what an interesting duality of albums.
One good, one mediocre.
Very mediocre is the word I would use for the Animals Christmas.
But we hope you enjoyed this little start to our Christmas block. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have some great albums planned.
We do. I'm very excited for the albums that we're bringing on next, especially...
we have some returning guests.
We do.
Which we are very excited to have on.
But stick around. We'll be here all month. And yeah.
We hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm your host, AJ Sonari.
I'm Matt Glass.
Happy holidays, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.